Good evening, I'm Bo Williams, and welcome to the 7. Let's get a look at the Big 7 stories right now. Topping the list for us tonight, windy weather impacting travel in the Smokies. Highway 441, also known as Newfound Gap Road, now closed. Rangers in the Great Smoky Mountains National Park tweeted they would close the route between Gatlinburg and Cherokee, North Carolina as a precaution because of the high wind threat. And with that in mind, we do want to take a moment and check in from what you can expect tonight and overnight with Chief Meteorologist Ken Weathers.
Yeah, Bo, thankfully we've got a couple quiet hours here in the sense we're not going to see any severe storms between now and about midnight, but afterwards that threat will go up pretty quickly. Just some random showers we've seen across the area earlier today. Some of it's been moderate to heavy. There have been a few rumbles of thunder, but the worst weather definitely to our west. Showers continue to move east, portions of Cock and Greene County, and some steadier rainfall also extreme Southern Valley through portions of Ray, Meigs, and Bledsoe County. Just light rain up into Campbell. Most are sitting in the 60s right now. Level 3 out of 5 risk areas to the west, just off the edge of the plateau into Middle Tennessee. Level 2 out of 5 risk from southeast Kentucky down through the Southern Valley. Level 1 out of 5 everywhere else. So yes, there is a greater risk, the higher the number, but I don't want you to let your guard down areas to the east because these will be moving through during an overnight time period when a lot of you will be asleep. We're talking about 3 to 5 or 2 to 4 central areas shaded in red, 4 to 6 in the orange, and after about 5 a.m. here in the yellow. So it will move through quickly. Damaging wind gusts will be our biggest concern as these storms do come through, and then quickly moving out. By about 8 a.m., we're seeing a return to sunshine. And then it's just windy the rest of the day Saturday, probably 20 to 40 mile per hour winds with some gusts over 50 at times. And that's with sunshine, Bo. That means the storms that come through tonight, maybe some 60 to 70 mile per hour winds. It's going to be a busy about 18 hours to go.
That is for sure. All right, Ken, thank you very much. We'll check back with Ken coming up in just a little bit. Our next big story, shocking and heartbreaking. A woman accused of killing her baby daughter. We just learned about this in the last half hour. 18-year-old Soniemi Benitez Melendez is charged with criminal homicide and the death of a 7-month-old. The Blount County Sheriff's Office saying that they were called out Tuesday to her home on Evelyn Lane with deputies finding that the baby was not breathing. An ambulance took the child to Blount Memorial Hospital, but she did not survive. According to the Sheriff's Office, an autopsy showed the baby died of asphyxiation. Also, we're told there was a 2-year-old living at the home. The boy is now staying with a family member. Sheriff's Office says more charges could be coming as the investigation is still underway. Next up on the Big 7, jury deliberations underway now in trial of 2 teens accused of killing Stanley Freeman Jr. Freeman, a 16-year-old Austin East student, was shot while on his way home from school in February of 2021. DeAndre Davis and Rashawn Jordan are accused of shooting and killing Freeman, again while he was leaving Austin East Magnet High School in his car. Davis was 16 at the time of the shooting. Jordan was 14. Prosecutors telling the jury they believe Jordan and Davis acted as a team. On the other side, Jordan's defense attorney leaned into the idea that there is no witness putting their client at the scene. The medical examiner went over the final autopsy report today of Stanley Freeman Jr., and we do want to warn you that what's about to be explained by that medical examiner might be disturbing for some viewers.
The injuries with this gunshot wound, this was the lethal gunshot wound. It injured the soft tissue and muscle of the back. It went through and struck the posterior part of the rib cage at the level of the left 4th posterior intercostal space, and then it struck the left lung, the upper lobe of the left lung, that exited the left lung and struck the top part of the heart, specifically on the left side, known as the left atrium. And then after that, the bullet coursed through and struck the anterior part of the rib cage at the level of the left 2nd anterior intercostal space. And then after that, the bullet exited the body.
Dr. Rowland, who you just heard from, also collected several items that were on Freeman's person at the time of his death. Those items included a gold cross necklace, earring, or I should say a rubber band as well. As we mentioned earlier, the jury is currently in deliberation, and as soon as we hear their verdict, of course, we're going to share that information with you on air and online at WATE.com. Our next Big 7 story takes us to Fort Campbell, Kentucky, where 9 military personnel died Wednesday when 2 Black Hawk helicopters crashed. Today, we learned the names of those 9 service members. 2 of the names were shared by family members, Staff Sergeants Caleb Gore and Taylor Mitchell. They were both medics in the 101st Airborne Division. The other 7 named were released by the Defense Department. They are Warrant Officer Jeffrey Barnes, Corporal Emily Bolanos, Chief Warrant Officer Zachary Esparza, all of them with the 101st. The list continues with Surgeon Isaac John Gayo, Warrant Officer Aaron Healy, Chief Warrant Officer Rustin Smith and Sergeant David Salinas. Those soldiers originally hailed across the country, including from Florida, Texas, California, Alabama, Missouri, New Jersey, and North Carolina. The division's brigadier general also revealed the medical helicopters were flying in formation using night vision goggles. Investigators still looking into the exact cause of the crash. Our next Big 7 story takes us to a roundtable with Knox County Sheriff Tom Spangler. Sheriff Spangler is asking for a 30% pay increase for deputies and corrections officers. Now, the sheriff says his department right now has 127 open positions in law enforcement and corrections, and he says to fill those spots, the office needs to increase salaries. Sheriff Spangler is saying beginning pay for those deputies is basically $45,000 with $39,000 for corrections officers. And the sheriff says those willing to serve and protect deserve better pay, and without it, the county will continue to lose new recruits and veteran officers to other agencies and counties that pay more.
Those men and women that are doing that job and wearing that vest every day, taking the chance of being exposed to fentanyl as bad as it is today.
Spangler adds he has already submitted the pay increase proposal to the county mayor's office, but he is waiting to see if it will be accepted. Our next Big 7 story, a next step, is two men accused in a deadly shooting that claimed the life of a child. Well, learn their case will now go to a grand jury. That's the decision out of a Monroe County courtroom today. Luke Huerta and Itzu Huerta face first-degree murder charges, plus counts of attempted murder and aggravated assault. The shooting happened February 15th, with several people reportedly showing up at the home, exchanging gunfire with the people inside. One man was found dead outside the home, Lenin Huerta. Lou Huerta was captured after a short manhunt. 2-year-old Aliana Butts died at a hospital 2 days after the shooting. The grand jury hearing cases in Monroe County meets next week, and again in May. We'll let you know if they decide there's enough evidence to keep going forward to trial. Knoxville Police Department is investigating a fatal hit and run involving a motorcycle. It happened at about 9:30 Wednesday night along Western Avenue. Investigators say it appears a motorcycle was traveling west along Western when it was rear-ended by a vehicle that then drove off. We know the motorcyclist was transported to UT Medical Center and later died from his injuries. The vehicle that fled is believed to be a silver or light-colored sedan. It was last seen driving away from downtown, westbound, again, down Western Avenue. If you know anything that could help investigators, maybe you saw something, well, you are asked to call Crime Stoppers. The number is 865-215-7165. We are learning more about the gas leak that led to an early dismissal yesterday at Hardin Valley Academy. This is our final Big 7 story for you. We now know the name of the custodian believed to have intentionally turned on and left 2 gas valves open overnight Wednesday. He is being identified as 23-year-old Jay Kostermans. Knox County School Superintendent Dr. John Reiswick, in an email to parents last night, shared that gas valves were left on intentionally. Apparently, the Knox County Sheriff's Office discovered a contract custodian intentionally had turned that gas on in a classroom. He was then fired and taken into custody. The school building was cleared by law enforcement and students returned to class this morning. Dr. Reiswick assures parents the school system is doing everything to make sure students are kept safe.